Today on Locked On Kings, newest Sacramento King and fourth overall pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, Keegan Murray is introduced to the media. You're going to hear his full press conference inside the Golden One Center and a brief one-on-one interview that I did with Keegan right here on the Locked On Kings podcast.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily Sacramento Kings podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for another episode of Locked On Kings.
Hello and welcome into Locked On Kings, your podcast hub for Sacramento Kings coverage all regular season and, of course, all off season. My name is Matt George. I have the privilege of being your host here. I'm an ABC 10 sports reporter and producer, and you've heard enough of me gabbing and blabbing over the last couple of days. You heard, hopefully, my great interview that I had yesterday with Keegan Murray's head coach at Iowa, Fran McCaffrey. If you haven't checked that out, go and look that. I apologize, audio listeners. The audio version of that was released later than the video version, so you might not have listened to that full interview yet, audio listeners. I encourage you to go and do so. Fran McCaffrey has phenomenal things to say about Keegan Murray, and also has some great things to say about some of the criticisms towards Keegan Murray, especially his low ceiling criticism. So after you're done listening to this Locked On Kings podcast, I encourage you to go back and listen to that one. But I'm going to get the heck out of the way because you don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from newest Sacramento King Keegan Murray. Here is his full press conference. And then at the end of the podcast, I'm going to share with you a brief, about 3-minute interview that I was able to do with Keegan, asking him a couple questions about the Kings fan base, asking him about what he's heard about the fan base in the Golden One Center, talking to him a little bit about his fellow 2022 draft class. There's some great stuff in there that I really think you're going to enjoy. So without any further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy your newest Sacramento King, Keegan Murray.
Want to get to asking Keegan questions, but thank you all for being here. Welcome Keegan and his family here to Sacramento. First, I want to say his father, Kenyon, his mother, Michelle, his sister, McKenna, and his girlfriend, Carly, welcome. It's been great getting to meet you guys. Obviously, we got to meet Keegan as well and have a good time last night, but welcome to Sacramento. I think as I said the other night, Keegan, the player, Keegan, the person, is somebody that is the exact type of player that we want to bring into our system here. On the court, both ends of the floor, up and down, versatile, somebody who can play in multiple different situations and succeed. And I think, as we also said, the person, the work ethic, the competitiveness, the humility, everything that we look for. And so we're excited, very excited to welcome him. And with that, I'll let Keegan take it from here.
Appreciate it, Monty. I'm excited to be here in Sacramento. It's a dream come true to be able to put on the purple and black. So I'm grateful to be in this position. Sacramento has welcomed me with open arms so far, so I'm excited to see everyone at the games and things like that. For me, it's been a journey from where I've came from and to where I am now. So this is just the first step in my journey. I'm forever grateful to be here in Sacramento. Anything, open up for questions, anything like that.
My name is Sean with Fox 40. What was going through your mind on draft day, both before the Kings called your name, afterwards? Did you have any kind of preconceived notion that they were going to select you with that fourth overall pick?
Yeah, going into draft day, anything can happen. So for me, it was just going in with the mindset, just have a good time with my family. And I knew that at the end of the draft, I'd be with an NBA team, and that was the goal all along. And to have it be Sacramento was one of the best feelings ever. To be able to have a good relationship with a lot of people in this front office, the players. I feel like it was just a great fit for me, and my emotion on draft night were just everything I expected. My family being there meant a lot to me, and I'm forever grateful for that night.
Keegan, James Ham, ESPN 1320. When did you know that there was a good chance you were coming to Sacramento? And I guess for Monty, too, we saw sort of the joy when he got off the plane, you embracing and all that. Is this the guy that you wanted the whole time?
Sure, I'll go first. Keegan was, like I said the other night, somebody that when he was there at 4, we were thrilled. We get 5 minutes. I don't think we used anywhere near 5 minutes to call it in, and so I think for us for sure that joy was 100%. That was our whole front office, an organization, not just myself.
Yeah, I think when I knew was when all the cameras started going to the table. So they prematured it a little bit, but I knew that I built a good relationship with a lot of people here, and I knew that if I came here, it'd be a great opportunity for me. So when all the cameras started coming my way at the table, I was excited to start buttoning up my jacket to get ready to walk on the stage. So I was just excited.
Hey, Keegan. Matt George, ABC 10. Monte has shared a lot about how you impressed him in the front office in the Sacramento Kings, but how has the Kings organization, has the city of Sacramento impressed you in this process?
Yeah, I think just first off, when I came here to meet with a lot of the people, they brought a couple players with them, and Sabonis and Fox. So for me, I felt like that was a big statement that they made when I knew that they really cared about me and my abilities to be able to play here. And a lot of the guys have been able to text me throughout these last couple days. So I've been forever grateful for that, and they just welcomed me with open arms. The city of Sacramento, I'm excited to get to know more throughout these years, and I couldn't be more fortunate to be in this position.
Hey, Keegan, Brendan Nunez, Blue Wire. Welcome to California. I feel like I have to start with this. Have you been to In-N-Out yet? Any strong opinions?
When I came here to visit, that was the first time Monty West got me in and out. So I thought it was the perfect opportunity to try it. So
Keegan, so you all know, is a burger aficionado.
Yeah. I got a list.
And yeah.
Do you rank? Have you ranked In-N-Out yet?
It's third on my list.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll hear 1 and 2 later.
Yeah. You'll hear 1 and 2. Yeah.
You and Harrison both being from Iowa, just how special is that to you, and have you guys had the chance to interact and speak since?
Yeah, I think it's an incredible opportunity. Not many guys have come out of the state of Iowa and been able to be drafted and been able to play in the NBA. So for us to be on the same team, be able to play basketball with each other and be from the same area, I think is special. Growing up, I'd always watch that Ames team with him and Doug McDermott. They're one of the best high school teams ever in the state of Iowa. So that was really cool. Just to be able to have him as a vet, be able to teach me the ropes. He's hit me up, text me, just welcoming me to Sacramento, and I'm just excited to get started.
Hey, Deuce Mason, how's it going, man?
Doing good.
I know you're a big film guy. I'm curious if you've had a chance to dive in and kind of even watch Sacramento, see Fox, Sabonis, and maybe how you think you could fit with those guys.
Yeah, I think my versatility plays a factor. Playing alongside both of them, being able to cut to the basket, read what Sabonis is doing in the post, things like that. I feel like that obviously takes time with chemistry and things like that, but I feel like I'm just excited to be able to play off him. Fox is a dynamic point guard, and he's a guy that he can create his own shot, create for other guys. So for my ability to catch and shoot threes, play on the perimeter, I feel like we'll just expand both of their games even more.
And I'm curious, what shaped your love for the game of basketball?
I think what shaped my love for the game of basketball is just how I've been unappreciated my whole life. I feel like coming out of high school, unranked, one Division I offer, thinking about going the JUCO route, I think that just built my love for basketball even more, and know that I have a lot to do, a lot to grow on my development, and I'm just excited to be able to develop my game even more here.
There you go. Thank you, Tony Harvey, local reporter here. I want to take you back to your going into your freshman year at Iowa. Okay, you're playing with the likes of the McCaffrey brothers and Luka Garza, and we know how dominant Luka is. He's playing in Detroit. I mean, that was a lot of people to compete with as far as getting on the floor.
Yeah.
Fran McCaffrey, what did he tell you? With that that roster already set, at least in the starting position. What did he tell you? What you had to do to get on the floor? Because you only averaged 18 minutes a game during that season, but your impact was on defense. That's what I was impressed with. What did he tell you to get you to understand, the buy-in, and, this was going to get you out on the floor to play behind these guys?
Yeah, I've always grown up being a scorer, so that was kind of different in that aspect. But I remember I had an off-season meeting with one of our assistants, and he pretty much told me, your job's not to score the ball. We've got guys to do that. So what are you going to do to find your role, find your playing time on the court? And for me, that was just going back, and I had to be the best rebounder possible and best defender possible. And for me, I tried to out-rebound Luka every single practice. We had a little stat sheet that we'd have after every single practice. My goal was to have more rebounds than him. So I took that to heart. That ended up the coaches trusting me on the court, me playing more. So I think just having that hardship when I got there, knowing that nothing was guaranteed, I had to earn everything I got. I just kept that mindset throughout the whole year.
And one more question.
Yeah.
Going into your sophomore year, okay? Real big jump. I mean, we could talk about the numbers, and I like them. 30 of your rebounders from the offensive end, and I think that's just flat out a skill. It's just, those balls just don't fall into your hand. Yeah. And on top of the blocks, 68 and the 45 steals, on top of the 66 threes that you were doing on the offensive end. How did you do that, making that transition going into your sophomore year? Because that was probably one of the biggest turnarounds from a college player last season.
Yeah, I know. First of all, I was playing 18 minutes a game my freshman year. I knew I had to play 35 to 40 minutes going into my sophomore year because I was going to have a bigger role. I knew that for me to be able to have those numbers and to have my team have the best possible outcome of every night to win was for me to be on the court. So I had to be able to get in shape to play 35, 40 minutes a game. And that was a big thing. My offensive skill set, I just honed those skills in the offseason, but it was mental more than anything. Knowing that whenever I got on the court, I was the best player on the court. And just keeping that mindset, didn't matter if we're playing the 330th ranked team in the country or if we're playing the number one team in the country. Just having that mindset every night that I was going to be the best player. I wasn't going to get tired. And it was more mental than anything.
Today's episode of the Locked On Kings podcast is brought to you by BetOnline, your number one source for all your betting needs and sports information. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NHL playoffs, Major League Baseball happening right now. In addition to that, they have MMA, boxing, and golf. So much going on at BetOnline. My favorite, though, is all the prop bets, the future bets, kind of the things outside of the game. Like there was a ton of betting going on with the NBA drafts. If you took Paolo Banchero going number one overall a couple of days before the draft itself, you probably made good money. If you took Jabari Smith Jr. going number 3 to the Houston Rockets, you probably made really, really good money. And hopefully you made money on the Sacramento Kings drafting Keegan Murray at number 4. Plus, there's great future bets already out for the NFL next season. If you're an NFL fan, take advantage of that. BetOnline.net remains the best spot for your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. You can head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and the action at BetOnline, where the game starts.
Hi, Keegan. Jason Anderson with the Sacramento Bee. Nice to meet you. Welcome to Sacramento.
Appreciate it.
First of all, let's get back to that burger list. Who's number 1 and 2?
Small Cheval, it's a burger joint in Chicago. That's where I've been doing my pre-draft. That's number 1. Shake Shack's number 2. In-N-Out's number 3.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You and Fox can talk about Whataburger later. Reflect on your journey for us a little bit. I mean, you had, kind of a unique experience just throughout, like the big growth spurt and then, on to Iowa. And I'm sure the last 48 hours have been a whirlwind for you coming back across the country. Just reflect on kind of what this has all been like for you and how much it means to you.
Yeah, it means a lot. Just knowing 3 years ago where I was at in my life, just trying to find a scholarship to go to school and play basketball, to being where I'm at today. It's been a dream come true. These last 48 hours have been the best time of my life. Haven't really soaked it in much, just ready to get to work. And I think all of this stuff right now is, I feel like it just getting me prepared even more to get on the basketball court. These last 48 hours to be able to share with my family has been a blessing for me.
Keegan, Coach McCaffrey raved about you in an interview recently, but he wouldn't take much credit for your development and how Iowa got you to this point. Can you speak a little bit about what he, his staff, your teammates, and how Iowa prepared you for this leap to the NBA?
Yeah, he's always believed in me ever since my freshman year of high school, or freshman year of college. And I've played against both his kids in high school. We went to rival high schools, so he was able to see my growth and development. He was the first coach that treated me and Chris as individuals, so I think I give all credit to him, our coaching staff, and just developing me, and also giving me the confidence just to go out every night and know that if we win or lose, he can live with that, with me being the guy on their team. So he just established great confidence in me, and I'm just forever grateful for him.
Keegan, what's the biggest misconception maybe about you and your game?
I think it's my competitive spirit. I get a lot of that just because I'm so even-keeled on the court. I just try not to get too high or too low. In high school, I was kind of like that kid that always wore his emotions on his sleeve. So I just tried to change that. It didn't work for me, so I'm just trying to keep that even-keeled mindset. But for me, once you get in between the lines, I feel like I'm one of the biggest competitors out there. So I feel like that's probably a misconception.
In Monty, it was said that you guys really liked him early on. Like you guys were scouting him really early. What maybe jumped out to you from the get about him that clued you guys in on his ability?
Yeah, I think a little bit of what Keegan said his freshman year, where maybe a smaller role, but his ability to impact the game without putting the ball in the basket as much, still kind of, stuff in the stat sheet, so to speak. But, and then as we continue to watch, and I think that competitiveness comes out, and then the transition into this year where he's able to continue to do all those things to help his team win and score at the highest level in the country, just give us even more confidence that he'll be able to continue to do that at the next level.
Keegan, being a twin, how difficult is that going to be, leaving your brother behind and coming to the NBA and not sharing a car anymore or an apartment or anything else?
No, it's not difficult at all. If anything, we're glad that we're apart. I think that we've grown enough with each other at this point in our lives that it's time to separate, because there'd be little things that I'd be annoyed for him, little things that he'd be annoyed for me. So it's time. He'll do his thing at Iowa, and he'll have a great career there. So I'm excited to see his season next year.
Yeah, Keegan, I'm curious who you grew up kind of watching and modeling your game after, and is there anybody in the league specifically that you're excited to go up against?
Yeah, I think it's just all the guys that have established themselves in the league. No one too specific. Just being able to play against the guys that you see on TV, the Hall of Famers, the future Hall of Famers. I think that'll just be special for me to go against and compete with them, prove myself against them. So I'm just excited for that opportunity. And I'd really just found my game after a lot of people. Chris Middleton's a guy. I feel like we've had that similar kind of stature. A guy that I feel like plays with really good pace. And I feel like he's a guy that if I model my game after, I can have a really good career. So I'm just excited really to play against a lot of the really good players in this league.
Keegan, during the whole draft process and over the past 48 hours, you've been asked a lot about what you can bring to Sacramento. But I'm just wondering, from your standpoint, what do you need around you to really be able to flourish and kind of get the most out of your ability?
Yeah, I think just my mindset, my ability, I'm able to fit into a lot of different cultures and fit in and be successful in a lot of places. So I just think just creating good relationships with everyone in this organization from top to bottom, I feel like will give me great success. And I'm just excited to keep building those relationships. I know that those will have an effect on the court because once you have really good chemistry as a team, as a coaching staff, as an organization, the sky's the limit.
Keegan, you came here not too long ago, and I think the report said you had dinner with Fox and Sabonis. Just want to know how that went. What did you eat, and what went on with the day? Did you work out with them too, as far as having dinner? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I got here late, kind of had some playing difficulties. So I went to dinner with Fox, or went to dinner with Sabonis. I went to breakfast with Fox. So I feel like just having those guys there really benefited me, and I know that they cared about me and what I was and what I represented. And they didn't have to come to those events, but they did, and so that was really special for me.
Question for Monty, but Keegan, I've got news for you, buddy. I've already seen a mock draft that has your brother coming to Sacramento next year. Monty, can you talk, we didn't ask you about the trade at the 37 spot really the other night. What was the idea behind moving the 37 pick with some of those guys on the board for 2 future firsts? And can you give us any details about how Summer League rosters might be coming together?
Yeah, so at the time the trade was not official, so I couldn't speak on all the details, but yeah, it was for 2 future seconds, which is kind of the larger trade I was referencing, not a 3-team trade or anything. But for us was, as we go into draft night and into free agency, we're really we're managing both our roster spots. We've got a bunch of guaranteed contracts already. We're adding one more very quickly, and so that that's one thing is opening up another roster spot as we get into free agency, and we have a lot of things on the table. And the other is our our asset management and building the portfolio so that we can go and continue to build out the team. And for us, the trade off at that point and turning 1 second into 2. Into the future, we felt that plus opening up the roster spot allowed us to kind of have the best options as we go into July.
This episode of the Locked On Kings podcast is brought to you by our friends at Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your dealership or chain auto parts store to carry all of the parts that you need. And even when they have the parts that you need, you don't have flexibility. You don't have negotiation power. You have nothing. It's their set price points, their set brands, and you're stuck. You don't have to go through that anymore. RockAuto.com is available for you on your phone, on the internet. As long as you have an internet connection, you have access to savings with Rock Auto. I'm talking 30, 50, or even 100% more savings than at your local chain auto parts store. For example, a Honda Odyssey fuel pump is $353 from a chain store, only $216 at Rock Auto right now. Yeah, that's serious savings. Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Their prices are reliably low for every single customer, and they have everything you need: brake parts, tail lamp, motor oil, even new carpet. They've got so much. Go explore their easy-to-use website today. And when you go, make sure you write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. RockAuto.com.
Yeah, Keegan, at the NBA level, do you see yourself more as a small forward or a power forward?
I think I can play different positions. Obviously, it depends on who's on the court, who we're playing. So I think I'm able to adapt to different positions. It doesn't matter if it's small forward, power forward spot. Wherever they need me to do is where I'll fit in and where I'll be my best at.
And Monty, you got your pick, but after that, you got a lot of work to do. Sort of, how many rotational pieces are you looking to change out here between now and the start of the season?
Yeah, for us, I think we're gonna, we'll take this week to kind of reassess, prepare for July. I think adding Keegan, somebody who he just said can play multiple positions, really helps us as we build it out. But as always, yeah, we're going to be aggressive, see what we can do to continue to add to this team. Get with Coach Brown and continue to build, our alignment with him on what he feels he needs. But we feel we're in a good spot to add in July, whether it's free agency or trade.
I guess this could be a question for either of you, but probably Monty. We saw the embrace that Keegan had with Coach Brown. Can you speak a little bit to, since we haven't gotten to speak to him yet, the excitement level of Coach Brown having a player that's as versatile as Keegan that, like he said, can be used in multiple different ways?
Yeah, Coach Brown obviously was busy with the playoffs, but we were keeping him updated on some of the guys we were looking at, and Keegan certainly intrigued him. And then as we got through the draft process and he continued to watch more and we talked more, and I think it's number one, his ability to get up and down the floor in transition, which Coach Brown has spoken about. Joining Foxy and Domas and Harrison. We have a lot of athleticism. Keegan adds some more, and then I think really it's the versatility that he's spoken about, and Coach Brown sees it, and I think the league is going to a spot where guys who can play more positions, can switch defensively, all those types of things are really important. So I think Coach Brown's very excited to utilize him here.
Monty, just kind of circling back on the draft a little bit, can you provide a little clarity on Sasha Vezenkov, just his situation? Is there a confidence on your side that he will be a King? Just kind of what the buyout situation might be with him?
Yeah, no, for us it's just another one of those sorry, another one of those options as we get into July. Just somebody else who, like I said, is playing fantastic basketball over there and at an age where, he's just entering his prime. And we'll work through all that as we kind of get into the next couple weeks and assess exactly where we're at. But just the talent level that he's shown is something we're thrilled to, add to our organization.
So there's Keegan Murray's press conference, but I got the opportunity to spend a few minutes with Keegan, asking him a few more questions before the day was done. Take a listen.
Hey, Keegan, first off, welcome to Sacramento, my friend. Do you have any kind of idea or been told at all about the loyalty and the rabidness of this fan base here?
Yeah, I've heard great things from it. So I'm excited to experience it for the first time. I know that this is a really good community with really good support, and I just think that it's going to be something special next year, and I'm just excited to experience it.
You have an empty Golden One Center behind you, but is it easy to imagine this place full, loud, and rocking? And have you heard about how loud just it gets in this building?
Yeah, I've heard great things. The atmosphere in this building, I feel like this is one of the best places in the NBA to have a game. So I'm excited for this atmosphere, win some games, get a little rowdy. So I'm ready to experience it.
You spoke about one of the misconceptions in your game is that you're kind of even-keeled. Some people have made like a Kawhi Leonard comparison in terms of kind of that even-keeledness on the floor. But can you speak a little bit more about the competitive nature that you have and how that comes out through your actions, not necessarily words and facial expressions?
Yeah, I think through my actions, just the way I compete, I'm relentless on the court. I like to be the aggressor. And obviously, there's a lot of guys that have different ways of showing their competitiveness. And mine's just through my actions and what I do on the court. So that works for me, and it'll continue to work for me. So I just keep that with me, and I'm just excited to be on the court and use that competitive nature.
Question. I heard you say in the interview, this is on draft night, that you have a chip on your shoulder, obviously in regards to, just your process. How do you feel that you're going to use that chip on your shoulder to further motivate you to bring out the best of your abilities here?
Yeah, I just think just remembering at that point where I was at in my life 3 years ago, not knowing April of my senior year where I was going to go to school. I just think just knowing where I was at during that time will forever be a chip on my shoulder. I'll forever remember that. So that's just what motivates me every single day.
Can you speak a little bit about the draft class that you came in with? Your peers, they're your competitors. Last year, they're your competitors in draft order. But overall, there's a lot of pride put into draft classes every single year. Can you speak about like Jaden Ivey, the three that went ahead of you, some that went behind you, and how they've motivated you to get to this point?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys that are incredibly versatile in this draft class. A lot of special players. I know that for me, I'm going to compete every single night like I was undrafted. So for me, I just think that seeing those guys and knowing that those guys ahead of me just makes me want to compete even more and be the best player on the court every single night. So I'm just excited to compete against them, excited to see what I showcase myself.
Keegan, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Got to know Keegan Murray a little bit there, stuff that he had to say about the Kings organization, answered a lot of questions, and I thought had a great press conference. If you can win a press conference, I thought Keegan Murray did. Also some interesting stuff in there about Monte McNair. He spoke a little bit more in detail about why he traded away the 37th pick. I'm going to talk about that more and other things at a different time here on Locked On Kings, but I want to hear your feedback, your impressions of newest King, Keegan Murray. Let me know at MattGeorgeSack on Twitter. Email me, mattgeorgesports@gmail.com. And of course, you can leave your thoughts in the YouTube comments section down below. I hope you have the chance, if you haven't already, to go and check out my interview with head coach Fran McCaffrey. And remember, because we accomplished our goal of 350 reviews on Apple Podcasts, I'm going to be buying a pair of tickets to opening night of the Sacramento Kings regular season lower bowl tickets, and I'll be giving them away. You have a chance to win tickets and be able to see Keegan Murray's first official game as a Sacramento King. And of course, he's going to be competing, or at least we believe he's going to be competing in the California Classic, which is in San Francisco, unfortunately, this year. And in Summer League, I'm doing my best to be able to make it out for at least a couple of games in Las Vegas this year, and we'll hopefully be able to bring you some great exclusive Locked On Kings content from that. I'll have more information as that goes on. Regardless, we still have plenty to talk about, plenty to get to over this offseason, and I hope you'll continue to stick with me right here on Locked On Kings. Appreciate you taking the time. Can't wait to talk to you next time. Until then, my name is Matt George. You have been listening to Locked On Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.